Hey everyone, it's Naomi Wolf, and I'm very honored and delighted to bring you today an interview with Sheriff Richard Mack. Welcome, Sheriff Mack.
Well, thanks, Naomi. It's great to be with you, and thank you so much for having me this wonderful Thursday after the election.
Yeah, it's certainly a crazily historic time, very, very
Really?
eventful. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. Just to tell people who are not familiar with your work, Sheriff Richard Mack formerly of the Graham County, Arizona Sheriff's Office, has won the NRNA Law Enforcement Officer of the Year Award. He's a law enforcement veteran. He's worked to protect the citizens of Graham County as well as the constitutional rights of all Americans. He successfully challenged the constitutionality of the Brady Bill. And he is the co-author of the book From My Cold Dead Fingers. He lectures across the nation, has appeared on major TV and radio shows, and he has organized the Graham County Militia under the Arizona State Constitution. He's a student of the Constitution and the Second Amendment. He has been a drug abuse resistance education instructor, a devoted husband and father of 5 children. And since this bio is a little bit old, no doubt there is lots more that you've done since I last shared that. Is there anything you'd like to add to the bio that I just shared?
Well, I want to make it clear that we won the case when we filed it against the Clinton administration. We actually beat the Clinton administration at the United States Supreme Court.
Wow.
If anybody would like to look it up, first of all, if anybody would like a review of the case, this is it, and it's on our website. Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Folks, it's very small.
What's the name of the case?
It's Prince, Printz, Prince, Mack, VUS. So if you looked up Mack, VUS, it'll come up.
Wow.
If you look up Prince, VUS, it'll come up. Now, Sheriff
in
Prince,
a nutshell, what was the case for people who are unfamiliar?
Okay. And Sheriff Prince joined me in the case from Montana, and 5 other sheriffs joined, so a total of 7. And this was the first time in history where sheriffs sued the federal government. And it's also first time in history that a bill from Washington, D.C. Commandeered the office of sheriff nationwide to enforce this gun control scheme known as the Brady Bill for the federal government because they said so. And they threatened to arrest us if we failed to comply.
Oh, my goodness.
Now,
so I'm going to...
wrong with that. First of all, I don't do gun control. It's against the law. Secondly, the federal government cannot tell any sheriff what to do in this country or any other state official. They can't tell governors. They can't tell dog catchers. They can't tell anyone what to do. And we won on that. We won on the 10th Amendment. And folks, this is the most powerful 10th Amendment decision in the history of America. State sovereignty, local autonomy, and that we self-rule and self-govern in the states. The federal government has only, quote, from this decision, Justice Scalia writing for the majority, the federal government only has, quote, discrete enumerated powers,
right,
end quote. So taking that in consideration, are they supposed to monitor gun ownership? No. Are they supposed to monitor every ranch and farm in this country? No. They don't have any authority to do that. Are they supposed to be randomly auditing people from the IRS who they just want to see if they can get more money out of us? They have no authority to do any of that. And quite frankly, they have very, very few law enforcement powers. And the states are supposed to be standing up to that. And we, the people, are supposed to be standing up to that. And we have a lot of work to do. But it should be easier now that Trump's in.
Wow. So interesting. So I'm just reflecting that during the years when you brought that suit and you were in the news media as an opponent, along with your fellow sheriffs of the Brady Bill, I was in the world around the Clintons, but also just reading legacy media. And you guys were represented as, dangerous kind of insurrectionist, gun happy, trigger happy threats to public safety. Do you remember any of the media coverage from that time? Do you agree or disagree with that characterization? Hey parents, I have an early Christmas and holiday gift for you. We've all been there. 1 minute your child is bouncing off the walls, perfectly healthy, and an hour later, this child is very sick. You feel helpless, and it can turn your plans upside down, especially on vacation. After thousands of customer requests, the wellness company has just launched the Kids Emergency Medical Kit. You no longer have to deal with emergency illnesses in a panic. Now you can have 6 critical medications at your fingertips to treat 20 plus illnesses for issues children have, such as strep throat, ear infections, lice, and respiratory illnesses. You can avoid urgent care and hospitals. The Kids Emergency Kit has been hand-selected by the wellness company's medical board and includes chewable amoxicillin, dissolvable ivermectin, and an optional EpiPen and more. This also includes a detailed guidebook guiding you step by step in emergencies. Ordering this kit is simple. Only parents can order for their children. Fill out an intake form and you will get a verification call for consent. Then it's delivered to your door. Don't wait till you're in the middle of a crisis and avoid late night urgent care runs. Order your kids' emergency kit today and remove panic from your life. And if 1 or 2 of the prescriptions run out, there's a replenishment option to restock only what you need. Go to dailyclouthealth.com and grab your kids' emergency kit right now. Use code DailyClout to save up to $40 at checkout. These kits are only available in the USA. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. I remember a lot of it. And I was in the New York Times. I was in the Los Angeles Times. The Dallas Morning News sent a reporter out to my small county, my little farming area. In fact, she took some pictures of me in the cotton fields right across the street from my home. And she kind of liked that and whatnot. She went down to the sheriff's office with me. Mm-hmm. She walked around my home, inside and out. And I thought she did a pretty good job on the article. Most people back then weren't nearly as cruel as they are now. Mm-hmm. Because people, organizations, IREHR, SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, Politico. I like this one, the Daily Beast.
Oh, yes.
Who's going to call themselves the Daily Beast? Anyway, they, Washington Post, they've all done hit pieces on me that somehow I'm a racist because I believe in state sovereignty and the Constitution. And quite honestly, I believe completely and 100% that freedom and individual rights and civil rights are for all people. There's no exemptions. Mm-hmm. All people have the same equal right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that must be guaranteed by our nation's sheriffs, and all government must guarantee that to one and all. Mm-hmm. There's no exemptions. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you are. It's for everybody. But now, for some reason, because I'm standing against the mainstream thought of the leftist communist takeover of America, and now somehow I'm a danger. Southern Poverty Law Center named me one of the top 40 domestic terrorists in America.
That's very dangerous.
I have never committed an act of violence against another human being, even in 20 years of law enforcement. I never beat anybody up. I wasn't violent. And now look at what they do to lie about me. And quite honestly, I'm a little bit fed up with their lies, although it doesn't bother me too much because they're a bunch of liars and I can't control that.
Duly noted. I mean, I trust you haven't called for violence against anyone.
Never. Right.
Interesting.
No, I ask them, where have I ever advocated violence? Even against you idiots. Have I ever done anything? Have I ever done anything to hurt you or try to hurt you or say, all the posses and militias in this country should go attack you? You know, that's so absurd. I would never do such a thing, even against them. And I even opened up my home to CNN, Sarah Sidner. And I said, I really don't know why I'm doing this because I know you're going to lie about me. And I said, but I guess I just had some extra time on my hands. So come on in. You know, she's pretty high up with CNN. Mm-hmm. And then, so at the end, I told her, I said, I know you're going to lie about me. She goes, why would you say that? This is the first time we've ever met. You don't know me. I said, that's pretty easy, isn't it? You work for CNN. You're going to lie.
Wow.
And she did. She did, totally.
That's so sad. Did you know that there is nearly $1 trillion of infrastructure and pandemic funds that have yet to be spent? That's right. There is a massive amount of money that the lame duck Biden administration is pushing hard to spend in their last remaining months. If the president is able to push these funds out, we could see another prolonged inflation surge, just like during the COVID years. And I'm sure you remember the terrible effects that high prices had on most Americans. But there is a way out. A surge in prices can be beaten. A gold IRA from Birch Gold Group is the ultimate inflation hedge for your savings in such uncertain times as these. To see how to protect your IRA or 401k, you should get your free info kit on gold by texting the word Daily Clout to 989898. Birch Gold makes it seamless to roll over your retirement account while preserving its tax advantage status. Don't wait for the president's spending spree to tank the dollar further. Protect your financial future now. Text Daily Clout to the number 989898 for your free info kit from Birch Gold. Well, on behalf of my fellow journalists, I apologize. And I certainly also apologize for not getting the other side of the story, back in the Clinton era. But it sounds to me like, as you're describing this case, and I would like you to say a little bit more concretely what the case is about. Like, I get the theory that you just spelled out, but what caused you and your fellow sheriffs to bring the case? But just before you answer, it also seems as if it's really not for you a case just about gun ownership or gun control or the Brady Bill. It's really a very fundamental essence of our system case about states' rights and the Constitution, because from what I'm hearing, you're saying, and your position is, and I'm remembering my Constitution, there's a sentence that says, like, everything that's not enumerated here goes back to the states, right? And you're basically saying, follow the Constitution. Everything that's not enumerated in the Constitution for the federal government to do goes back to the states. Is that a fair characterization of what?
That's the 10th Amendment. That's the 10th Amendment. You're paraphrasing. And we sued on the 10th Amendment.
All right. So whom did you sue around the Brady Bill and why exactly?
We sued the Clinton. We sued the Clinton administration.
All right. And what for? For what?
But you know the miracle there, right?
No.
I sued the Clintons, beat them, and lived to tell about it. That's the miracle.
I'm not going to go down that road.
Okay. But that's one of my favorite jokes. But your question is really good and valid. Because first of all, it was a gun control law, but we didn't sue on the Second Amendment. We really didn't have any standing on the Second Amendment because law enforcement was exempt from the Brady Bill background checks.
Can you go back, Sheriff Mack, and tell me what the Brady Bill said? Like, what's the essence?
Yeah, it said that the CLEOs, it called us the CLEOs, the chief law enforcement officer. They got that part right because the sheriffs are the chief law enforcement officer in every county.
Okay.
We are the conservator of the peace. The history of the sheriff goes back over 1,000 years, even before Columbus dreamed of coming here. And the office was the first law enforcement office established in America. In fact, 3 of the signers of the Declaration of Independence were former sheriffs.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But be that as it may, this time, the Brady Bill was really not that difficult to do ministerially. I mean, it required some record keeping and it required some effort to do background checks, and then the sheriff was given this complete omnipotent power to decide who could and who could not have a gun.
No, that's what the Brady Bill did?
Yeah, and there was no recourse. If a sheriff didn't like you, maybe you have a bumper sticker on for his opponent, he could just deny you because there was absolutely no recourse. Was the sheriff supposed to do that? No. Could he do it? Yes. And we're not supposed to have that kind of power. The right to keep and bear arms is guaranteed in the Constitution, and that is our job as all three branches of government. Our job is to protect those rights.
So
one other part about it, the biggest key to all of this was to protect the office of sheriff, because if we had allowed the federal government to commandeer the sheriff office for federal bidding anytime they wanted, the sheriff today would be reporting to the BATF or to other bureaucracies, FBI, IRS, and the federal government would be dictating what your sheriff does. And we would no, there's no way that that's supposed to be the case.
Right.
The sheriff answers to the people. He is the only elected law enforcement official anywhere in the county, anywhere in the country. And this is what makes us a constitutional republic, because the people choose us, and we promise in return to protect their constitutional rights as detailed in the Constitution. Their God-given rights as detailed in the Constitution.
Right. So in the chain of command in a state, to whom do sheriffs report?
Okay, I'm glad you're clarifying that. Not the governor, not the state legislature, not the county commissioners, and not the county attorney, and not the attorney general of the state. The sheriff, and this is what really makes a lot of people wonder, but it is absolutely true. The sheriff reports only to the people in his county.
Hey, everyone, it's Naomi Wolf. We are excited about our new sponsor, Native Path. Native Path's collagen formula is scientifically backed to increase bone mineral density, accelerate tissue recovery, reduce wrinkles, enhance hair thickness, and strengthen weak or damaged nails. Who wouldn't want more collagen with these benefits? So you can get an incredible 45% off today, plus free shipping. Every order comes with a 365-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it risk-free, and you really, really should. Are you interested in moving easily and independently without pain or stiffness? Do you want to look in the mirror and see a glow rather than fine lines and wrinkles? So you really need to find out about Native Path Collagen, made only with type 1 and type 3 collagen fibers, the two most important types that make up 90% of the collagen in your body. It is completely flavorless and can be added to anything. Coffee, I add it to smoothies. You can add it to oatmeal, and it makes it bioavailable, so it's absorbed more easily and mixes perfectly. It's kind of an amazing product. Honestly, I just started using it a few days ago. No fillers, no additives, no artificial sweeteners, and they third-party test for heavy metals. What is kind of amazing is that it really does. It makes me want to work out, which never happens. It has made me feel much more energetic, and it's I do struggle with the spinal issue, and I honestly have felt much more kind of buoyant and resilient since I began mixing Native Path collagen into my smoothie every day. So I can't praise this enough. I love it. There are 4 million jars sold, 1 million happy customers, 8,000 5-star reviews, and a no-risk guarantee. That's the kind of product that we at Daily Clout love to recommend. A product that's tried and tested. I simply cannot recommend it enough. So go to getnativepath.com / daily clout. That's getnativepath.com / daily clout, and stock up. You will find it transformational. I have. And thank you so much, Native Path, for being our new sponsor. And thank you for supporting our wonderful sponsor, Native Path. No kidding.
They're his only boss. He has no other boss.
Wow.
They appoint him, and he works for them, and they pay his salary, and they review his job every 4 years.
I did not know that. And then the police report to the sheriff?
Nope. The police report to the city council or to the town manager.
So now, who works under the sheriff?
My deputies.
I see.
The jail staff. Most every sheriff runs his own jail.
I see.
So you have jailers and corrections officers inside there. We have dispatchers who run, of course, 911 center,
Mm-hmm.
and then the deputies and my undersheriff. They all work under me, and they report to me, and they report to the people the same as me.
So what a beautiful system. That really
It
is
is.
a ground up grassroots. The people decide who keeps law and order in their
Exactly.
community. And
Exactly.
so is there a conflict between the sheriffs and the police in terms of law enforcement? What if you guys decide to do things differently?
Not usually. But that happens sometimes, but it's very rare because what I did when I was sheriff is I asked all the chiefs of police. There were 3 other chiefs and the sergeant for the highway patrol.
Mm-hmm.
And we met every month and we had lunch together, and we would try to make sure that we're always on the same page.
Right.
I didn't like a lot of ticket writing. So I didn't tell the other agencies, look, cut out all this ticket writing, this revenue generation. I would tell them that because tickets are very abusive. They're all about, they're 99% about raising money instead of about public safety.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So you saw the Brady Bill as directly undermining the Second Amendment. And
correct.
It sounds pretty overtly undermining the Second Amendment. So I assume
and the 10th Amendment.
And the 10th Amendment.
Yeah.
Right, because it arrogates to the federal government powers that belong to the states.
Correct. Yeah, they have no authority to be commandeering sheriffs. Sheriffs don't work. They can't fire me.
No, the sheriffs don't work for the federal government. They work for the people. What a beautiful argument. I literally was not told anything, any version of those points of view about, you and your scary colleagues trying to put them in the hands of every criminal.
Yeah, we're so scary. Yeah.
Well, so you won, you sued and won. Tell me how it came about.
Well, all 7 of us went to the district court. All of us won at the district court except the one from Texas. So how do you lose a state sovereignty kind of gun rights case in Texas? And I always surmised that it was the judge that moved in from Chicago or something, But then the federal government appealed, and we went to the circuit court. Mm-hmm. And Prince and I are in the same circuit, which is San Francisco, the 9th Circuit. And we lost. We got overturned.
We're in San Francisco?
San Francisco.
California?
Yeah, the 9th Circuit is the worst, most liberal court ever, and anywhere, even more than New York.
Right.
It was the most
overturned court. I'm aware of that. Yeah. Wow.
So we were consolidated, and at that time it became the Mack Prince case. And then, but luckily, the sheriff in Texas and the sheriff in Louisiana were at the 5th Circuit, which is New Orleans, and they won. So we have complete opposite rulings on the exact same case.
Oh, wow. That
guaranteed us a trip to the Supreme Court, and Prince and I went to the Supreme Court in December of 1996, and the decision was rendered June 27, 1997, and Scalia took this decision 10 times further than I had ever imagined. And seriously, it is the most powerful state sovereignty case, the defining moment for federalism in the history of our country. That's why all of you need this. You need this. It is available at cspoa.org, cspoa.org, or look up the case and study it just like I did, because I put all the best parts in here. I saved you a lot of time, but Cornell University Law School did the best review of it.
Oh, really?
And yes, absolutely. And folks, you can study it just like I did, or you can look at this. Every bit of this is right out of the decision. And I added a couple of things from the district and circuit cases as well.
So the result of the Supreme Court decision was to tank the Brady Bill, or did they change it? Like, what was the outcome?
It was called the severability clause. So the background check they could keep. What they couldn't do is conscript and command sheriffs to do it for them.
Got it.
So the part with the background check stayed in. I was against that, but they could go through. In other words, the severability lets them go through and, well, we'll cut that part. But we'll keep this part. And that's what they did. But there were 5 Brady bills scheduled to be passed 1 year after the other.
Wow.
And the sheriffs that did this can take credit for stopping Brady bills 2, 3, 4, and 5, which would have completely ended the Second Amendment by the time number 5 came along. I read them, I saw them, and it was absolutely the most subversive effort ever in our country's history to destroy the Second Amendment. Sheriffs saved the Second Amendment.
It's a beautiful story. It really should be a movie, shouldn't it? If it hasn't already been.
I've had people contact me about that, and I would really love to do that sometime. Sometime I would, but I'm not getting any younger, so we need to get rolling on it.
Right. I mean, well, I hope there are filmmakers out there and documentarians who are listening to what a fantastic story this is. And so, well, critics would say that this group of 7 sheriffs was kind of taken up or bankrolled by the NRA, which is a huge lobbying group.
Yes. Well,
that?
Yeah. Well, I called the NRA, and I was not a member of the NRA, and I asked them, "What do I do about this?" And it was Richard Gardner, who is a lawyer for the NRA, and I thought it was just like another Washington D.C. bureaucracy, because I got put on hold, passed around, put on hold. But finally, Richard Gardner said, "Sheriff, we're really grateful that you called." And I told him what I wanted to do, and sue the federal government on the Second Amendment and prove that it really meant the founding fathers knew what they were talking about. He goes, "We're not even suing on the Second Amendment." And I said, "Well, what are we suing on then?" He goes, "The 10th Amendment." I said, "States' rights?" And he goes, "They have no authority to tell you to do anything." And I said, "That's what I said." And so they said, "We're going to raise the money and pay for this.
Wow.
We'll have the lawyers for you." And I said, "Well, I don't want it to just be the NRA case. I want my own lawyer on this." And I said, "Is that all right?" He said, "Yes." And he recommended one out in Tucson. And I hired Dave Hardy right then and there. And he worked with the NRA lawyers. And we took this case, and we went all to the Supreme Court. Took 3.5 years. Cost me my 3rd election. But ever since then, I've written 8 books. I've been to all 50 states. And I've done presentations in 48 states.
Wow.
And we now have the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, of which every citizen in America can become a member. And if you want to have some sheriffs behind Trump and have his back when the attacks come after him again, anybody thinks that they're not going to go after him again, you haven't been looking at history.
Well, let's turn our attention to that, because of everything you've shared, obviously that's the most, urgent thing to discuss. Yeah. So constitutional sheriffs, I've heard of either your organization or organizations like it, and it raises really intriguing but also kind of scary possibilities, right? Because I assume, well, no, I'm being honest.
I appreciate it. No, go ahead.
I assume
but
that
I chuckle a little bit because our pundits always say that we're scary. And I said, what is scary about a sheriff defending civil rights?
No, I agree with you. Let's talk about, instances in which the constitutional sheriffs might behave differently than, the directives.
Okay. Well, let me give you an example. Okay. Sheriff Chronister in Tampa arrested a pastor during COVID for having church. His name was Pastor Rodney Howard Brown. Uh-huh. In the United States of America, we kept strip clubs open and other nonsense stuff like that but churches were called non-essential.
Right.
And so we tried to shut them down, and some did get shut down.
Right.
But Pastor Rodney Howard Brown has a mega church, and he is a great man. And I've been out to his church since then. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely love this man. Mm-hmm. However, the tale of 2 sheriffs, Sheriff Glenn Hamilton in New Mexico was contacted by a pastor in his county, Caleb Cooper, and he said, "Sheriff, I want you to know, I'm not closing my church, not ever."
Right.
And I'll tell you why. Because the government doesn't run my church.
That's right.
It's not supposed to run any churches.
Right.
Okay. And he said, "Jesus runs our church, and I want to know what you're going to do to protect us." Right. And Sheriff Hamilton said, If it takes me having to go to jail myself, so be it.
Wow.
But I'll do everything in my power to keep you open. Sure enough, the state police came to shut him down. They were confronted, and it was a peaceful thing, but he went out and talked to him. And Sheriff Hamilton said, I have deputized every single person in that church, and they're under my authority, and this church shall remain open.
Wow.
And Pastor Cooper never shut down a single second.
Amazing.
Not any day.
It's a beautiful story.
Well, that's, well, let me ask, I want to even ask the liberals, which sheriff do you want in your county? This is what I do full time. Right. I teach sheriffs, I teach the public, because the public needs to know what their sheriff is supposed to know. Right. Because he's your boss. You're his boss.
Right.
And so, absolutely. And there's been lots of instances like that. I had problems with the EPA and Army Corps of Engineers. I ended up asking them to leave. They left. Brad Rogers, sheriff of Elkhart County, Indiana, was defending an Amish farmer. And believe me, folks, this last administration has been going after Amish farmers, even putting them in jail, shutting down their farms, ruining their family business, scaring kids to death when they have SWAT teams come in to throw away all the dairy products, because they believe they have some sort of authority to monitor ranches and farms nationwide and then throw people in jail if they don't pasteurize their milk.
Right. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, let's go back to the constitutional sheriffs. I mean, say, what do constitutional sheriffs promise to do and not do? What makes them different? Yes.
When they take their job, they raise their right arm and swear in God's name that they will protect, preserve, obey, and defend the United States Constitution.
But how is a constitutional sheriff different from every sheriff who takes that oath?
No different. Different. Every officer, every public official in all three branches of government swears the same oath. Right. We have different assignments, but the ultimate goal is to protect the Constitution and thus the God-given rights of every citizen.
All right. Well, that doesn't make it sound that scary.
It's not scary.
But I mean,
the Constitution isn't scary. It's our foundation.
Scary to tyrants, but arguably.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, thank you. You gave the right answer. That is true. Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. But I guess arguably, if the governor or the president gives orders that are unconstitutional, then you and your fellow constitutional sheriffs affirmatively have committed to not following them. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
So has that ever happened that the constitutional sheriffs did not follow? Well, I guess you gave an example.
Well, sure, I just gave you an example, but there's bigger ones. Mm-hmm. Okay, how about if Kamala had won? And this has already happened under Obama and Biden, and sheriffs told them, we are not going to allow you to come in here and confiscate guns. Right. Sheriffs have written those letters. I still have the copies of them. Right. And over right after the Sandy Hook tragedy and shootings, Obama promised to come and get the guns.
Right.
And sheriffs, over 550 sheriffs nationwide, sent him a letter.
Oh, really?
You're not coming in my county, and you're not going to take guns from law-abiding citizens.
My goodness. Yeah. I love it.
And guess what happened? What? They didn't do it. Obama backed down.
You guys are the white hats. That's really impressive. Another suppressed story. I mean, such an historical resistance to tyranny. Well, let me end by asking this. Why are you personally so concerned about the Second and 10th Amendments? Well, let me just say second. Why do you think it's so important for people not to have their guns taken away?
Well, because first of all, it's my God-given right to self-protection and self-preservation. And not only that, but what was the intent of the founding fathers when they promulgated the Second Amendment? Was it so we could go hunting or that we could defend ourselves from intruders? It probably included that a little bit. But the ultimate goal of the founding fathers was to make sure that there could never be another time where we had to declare war on our own government.
Right.
And that if we ever had to, our right to keep and bear arms will be guaranteed. And it guarantees us, the Second Amendment guarantees us the right to rebel.
Wow. Okay, duly noted. I mean, there it is. And so you don't honestly believe that gun ownership makes society more dangerous. It sounds like you think it makes society more peaceful.
It is a peaceful thing. For instance, this is done. I've been even participated in these surveys before. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and survey every criminal who has done home burglaries and committed crimes with guns.
Okay.
Ask them if they want to go into homes that are well armed.
Interesting.
Ask them.
Yeah.
They'll tell you. They don't.
They don't.
They do not want to be confronted by a homeowner with a gun.
That sounds like kind of obvious in retrospect, but people don't really think ahead, do they? Well, this is a very persuasive argument, very reassuring, very inspiring. Where do people get this book, and how do they follow you, Sheriff Mack?
Well, first and foremost, every citizen can join us in this holy cause of liberty. You can become a member of the CSPOA posse. Then every Wednesday we have a training webinar. Pardon me?
I'm sorry, it's CSP like Peter, OA?
Yes, okay. CSPOA.org, Constitutional Sheriff's Peace Officers Association. Don't tell me, oh, well, I'm not a former cop, but I'm not a cop. Good, because you are your sheriff's boss, and you need to know what he's supposed to know. We do training every Wednesday and a CSPOA posse webinar, and we help you help your sheriff and work with your sheriff as part of the solution. Then you can also buy these books and my other books, The County Sheriff, America's Last Hope. Folks, there's no markup in this. This is $2. There, you can get 3 for $5. You should be passing these around and showing the greatest decision on the 10th Amendment in the history of America. It's amazing. It's miraculous. You've got to have it. Get as many as you can and pass them around.
Beautiful.
So CSPOA.org. CSPOA.org.
Well, Sheriff Mack, it's so inspiring for me to see someone who was narrated to me long ago as a threat to peace, a threat to society. Everything you're saying is very constitutionally based, from everything I can tell, very measured. And I am persuaded that constitutional sheriffs can keep us safer and keep our nation from declining into tyranny. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. I'm going to say goodbye to you now because I have some thanking to do to our sponsors, but we appreciate you joining us. Take care. Thanks for all you do. And everyone, don't forget to go support us by supporting our sponsors. If you care about independent journalism and opinion here on Daily Clout and on Outspoken, you want to go to nativepath.com/Daily Clout. Native Path Collagen. It is scientifically backed to increase bone mineral density, accelerate tissue recovery, reduce wrinkles, enhance hair thickness, and strengthen weak or damaged nails. And we lose collagen as we get older, so you really want to supplement. So right now, when you go to getnativepath.com/Daily Clout, you can stock up on Native Path Collagen for up to 45% off, plus free shipping. Every order comes with a 365-day money-back guarantee. Try it risk-free. You will move easily and independently without pain or stiffness, according to Native Path and many, many 4-star reviews. Look in the mirror, see a glow instead of more fine lines and wrinkles. You should discover Native Path Collagen, made with only type 1 and 3 collagen fibers, the 2 most important types, which make up 90% of the collagen of your body. This provides maximum benefits without the need for fillers. It's a single ingredient formula with no fillers, additives, or artificial sweeteners, third-party tested for heavy metals, so it's pure and safe. You can put it in your smoothie. You can put it in your coffee. It's flavorless and odorless. It doesn't clump, and also that makes it more bioavailable to your body. It really matters. And go to this trusted source, Native Path. 4 million jars sold, 1 million happy customers, 8,000 5-star reviews, and a 365-day no-risk guarantee. GetNativePath.com/Daily Clout. And don't just protect your health and well-being in these chaotic, crazy times that are only going to get worse probably before they get better. You've got to protect your assets and your wealth and your savings as well. We're heading into a time of great volatility. All the economists I interview say that this is the case. In a time of volatility, gold best holds its value. And this is where I trust the good people at Birch Gold Group to help you. And so does Brian. We turn to them to protect our own savings. Birch Gold will help you in converting an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. And the best news is that you don't spend a penny out of pocket. You just text the word Daily Clout to 989898, and you will get a free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just information on fortifying your savings before the crazy times really hit. With an A+ rating, with a Better Business Bureau, and thousands of happy customers, you can trust Birch Gold too. Text 989898 and the name Daily Clout to get your free info kit on gold today. Really don't wait. You don't want to be looking back and thinking, I wish I had diversified. I wish I had put my savings or some of my savings or 401k into gold. It is wise to diversify. And we love those sponsors with their trusted reputation and 4-star reviews. That's it for me. Remember to support us at Daily Clout. Become a sponsor or a donor. Go to Amazon to order the Pfizer Papers book right away. Send it up the bestseller list. There we go. Pfizer Papers. Can't really get that in the camera. You know what the title is. And you can come over and support me on Substack, on my Substack, Outspoken. Again, subscribe or donate. Take care.